All right, so welcome back to Dapp University. So today we got a bunch to talk about. Of course, we're gonna look at the crypto markets first and foremost, the flash crash that just happened in Bitcoin and other crypto assets. I'm gonna explain what this is because these things happen even in bull markets, and it kind of causes some people to freak out and they wonder like, hey, why does this happen? What should I do based on this information? So I'm gonna explain that in this video. Why you don't need to worry. Okay. We're gonna look at some other news about outside money pumping into the crypto space that I think can be a huge catalyst for this bull market to continue. Some other advances with NFTs, the technology happening in this space. All right, so before we get into that, if you're new around here, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Adrian, Jessica, Nauman, I hope I'm saying that right, Joe, Gasper. Awesome, very cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this first piece of news, which is the thing that a lot of people are wondering about, is this flash crash that happened with across other crypto, pretty much all the cryptocurrencies in the large cap at least that are pretty correlated with Bitcoin. Let's take a look here. So Bitcoin flash crashes by $2,000 in 5 minutes, liquidating $600 million in longs. So we can actually observe that here in the Bitcoin price. All right, you see this sudden jump in price right here. Okay, it basically goes up by about $1,000 and then drops by like $2,000 instantly. And when you're a short-term trader and you look at this, like on I don't know, maybe like an hourly candle or something like that. Maybe like a 5-minute candle, 15, something like that. It looks pretty gnarly. Okay, I don't have a TradingView chart pulled up in front of me right now, but these are the type of things that like cause a lot of people to freak out, right? Some people will get scared. They move positions around. So why do these things happen? Okay, and am I personally worried about this? So short answer is I'm not worried. The thing you have to understand, there's a lot of leverage going around the crypto markets right now. There's a lot of leverage. There's high frequency trading. There's bots. There's all this kind of stuff. Okay. So you have to understand that $600 million were liquidated in a matter of minutes. Okay. So if you don't understand what leverage is, I'm sure a lot of people do, but there's a lot of new people around here, so I'm going to explain this. So basically, this is where you get exposure to more Bitcoin than you personally own. So you can deposit funds into cryptocurrency exchange as collateral, and they'll let you like multiply that amount. So you could trade, 10 Bitcoin if you didn't actually have 10 Bitcoin, okay? So that's what they're talking about here. And whenever, the Bitcoin price changes enough, you basically have to stay within a safe zone with your collateral whenever you do leverage like this. And basically, if the price changes too much on you, then you can get liquidated. Basically, you just lose your position. You have to give all that money back, essentially. They just yank it. So this can be the source of a lot of big blowups here. And that's basically what happened. So, these are the things when you're looking at on the really short term, you're sitting there watching the charts. If you watch, crypto charts daily, this kind of thing can freak you out. But I'm not too worried. I don't see any reasons why this would, be bad for a bull market. If anything, it's good for a bull market because leverage is kind of hot air in the system, and when these types of things happen, it takes some of that hot air out. Now, of course, it is unfortunate for people who lost their shirts on this type of thing, but at the end of the day, trading leverage is risky business. You have to know the risk you're getting involved with if you're going to do it. For most people, I don't really recommend it. I mean, most people are going to get absolutely wrecked. I think it's only a strategy that's fit for advanced traders, like if that, which most people getting into crypto aren't. So that's how I personally feel about it. I think we had a lot of big news to indicate that a lot of outside money is going to continue to flow into the space. We can also check on the other prices. We can check on the ETH price. Of course, this is basically the exact same thing, right? We see this, then boom, right? We can see it in other top assets as well. You just go look at the, you see this notch basically happen everywhere. And as you go down in cap, so see some of them even haven't even recovered yet. Right, so if you're holding lower cap coins that were affected by this, you may not see that recovery. May not have seen that recovery just yet, but sorry, I realized that my screen is not quite showing this. You may not have seen that recovery just yet, but you probably will sooner rather than later. So let's take a look here. So yeah, I think there's lots of reasons to think the outside money is going to continue to flow into the space because ultimately that's what we need for the market cap to increase. Basically, don't forget, basically the same market participants who are in crypto now have to buy more. As in they have to borrow more money to enter into the crypto markets, which also is a form of leverage. They have to buy more out of the cash they have, or outside market participants need to enter into the space and do the exact same thing. So we've got news that would indicate that will happen. And that news is Chipotle talking about Bitcoin. No, not really. But this was kind of funny. I saw this yesterday. People were talking about Chipotle, tweeting about Bitcoin. Some people saying, is this a top signal? You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. When you see, I don't know, like companies like this who have nothing to do with crypto, who are now talking about Bitcoin, it gets people kind of freaked out. There's some people who have the perspective that like this time there'll be the adoption push for cryptocurrency will be so big that the outside participation from celebrities, other non-crypto related companies, won't be such a top signal like it was in 2017, just because the nature of this cycle is different. It's also very possible. But the news I actually do want to talk about is Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs looks to offer Bitcoin investment vehicle in the second quarter. Okay. So of course we're coming to the end of the first quarter. Today is the last day of the first quarter. Goldman Sachs looking to offer this to their wealthy clients. So you got to think about why, okay? So clearly Goldman was not offering Bitcoin to its clients before. I think part of that's got to just do with the, it's just hard to say for sure, but I think the bigger thing to indicate is they're likely hearing a lot of outside demand for this. Their clients are saying, whoa, why don't I have exposure to this? You know what I mean? This Bitcoin thing, it's gone up like 5-6x. Why didn't you tell me about it? I suspect that's what's happening. Again, I'm not deep in the finance world, but if I were to just think logically, that's probably what's happening from a client services perspective here. So that, basically wealthy people are paying attention. They're seeing this stuff. It's caught everyone's attention, and that's probably putting pressure on somebody like Goldman to offer this. So this is big because, hey, wealthy people can move the needle a lot like institutions can. People who have a large amount of money. Like I've always said, one of the reasons that institutional adoption of cryptocurrency is such a big deal is because individual institutions can buy a lot more than individual retail investors can. So, for Goldman clients, you're looking at a lot of accredited investors, which is the old school definition of accredited investor, which I think is, I don't want to make myself sound stupid here, but it's like, I think it's $1 million in invested assets outside your primary residence or $250,000 per year income, I think, for individuals, $500,000 for joint. I can't remember. But anyways, basically, like they have a certain wealth criteria, and if you meet those, then like you're likely to put a lot more in. So, anyways, they changed the accredited investor laws. Or they added, I think, the ability to pass a test and become an AI. I can't remember when I think that was last year. But anyways, so another thing that I saw yesterday is Michael Jordan getting into the NFT space, all right, with NBA Top Shots. So, of course, NBA Top Shots is a really popular NFT for basically digital sports trading cards. Think about baseball cards, applying this over to NBA on Dapper Labs on Flow blockchain. So we've seen a lot of people get interested in this, pour money into it, and now we've got Michael Jordan doing the same, along with some others. So Dapper Labs announced a $305 million funding round on Tuesday from another batch of National Basketball Association stars and a venture capital firm backing its runway hit NBA Top Shot. So Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan, and the investment firm, I can't even pronounce it, and a deep bench of 30 athletes plus the rapper 2 Chainz have piled into the non-fungible firm. So yeah, NFTs still taking off. Some people have looked at the price of CryptoPunks, okay, as sort of like indication of what's happening to the NFT market. Of course, CryptoPunks, the floor price on them have been dropping. So some people are thinking like, hey, the NFT bubble is kind of cooling off a little bit. What's going to happen? Yeah, sure. The NFT bubble may be cooling off. I don't think NFTs are going anywhere anytime soon. I still think it's a technology that has gone so far up into mainstream pop culture that it's not going to go away long term. Will the bubble pop? Yeah, probably. Can the bubble get a lot bigger than it is today? It certainly can. We don't know if it will. But, when you see people like this getting in this space, it's big validation for it. Because think about it. Everybody's sitting around watching what happened with NBA Top Shots and apply that to every other sports league out there, right? People who are responsible for making big decisions with... I'm not a big sports guy, so like I may get, MLB, Major League Baseball. Of course, there's lots of sports leagues outside the United States that I don't ever really think about. Whatever the national soccer leagues are, I call it soccer. You call it football, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so lots of people looking around seeing what's happened in NBA Top Shot and saying, how can we get on this? How can we do the exact same thing? All right, so we got some questions in the chat here. So what's the ticker for NBA Top Shots? So Top Shots is an NFT. You can just Google NBA Top Shots if you want to see how to purchase those. Yeah, esports. Yep, totally. Somebody said developers not care about sports. It's not that I don't care about it. I never got into sports growing up. Never, yeah. Somebody says they got some NFT from Top Shot. Yep. So what is the NFT project, or what is the best NFT project? Yeah, I don't have a good answer to that question. I mean, CryptoPunks is one of the OG most valuable ones, but of course they're super expensive. Most people aren't going to buy a CryptoPunk. Somebody says they would dunk on me. They probably would dunk on me. Okay, so let's see here. We got more people in the chat here. Said not soccer. Yeah, totally. Thoughts on Decentraland? So I think Decentraland's a very cool project. Okay, I'll talk about it. Again, this is not investment advice. I can't tell you what's going to happen with mana or anything that you can buy associated with Decentraland. But Decentraland's cool. Okay. So basically, I'll just pull it up on my screen here. So it's a virtual world, powered by blockchain that you can actually, the users can own. All right. So I shouldn't try to enter Decentraland right now on my computer, like while I've got the live stream going, because it may just be too much, maybe too resource intensive. Okay. But, yeah, so like you can, explore, you can create things inside of it. All right. You can trade virtual items within Decentraland. You can go like meetups in Decentraland, all that kind of stuff. I would highly recommend you going to the website and playing around with it, right? That's pretty much what I've done. I haven't spent a lot of time messing around with Decentraland. I've just kind of gone into it, tested it out, messed around with the mana. Yeah, I mean, there's so much in crypto right now that it's hard to focus on everything, right? You kind of want to get a little taste and experience of what's out there. But the easiest way to do that is just go to Decentraland, play around with it, see what it's like, form your own opinion based on that. Somebody says, what about Storage and Filecoin? How are they? So Filecoin is based upon, I'll speak about the tech a little bit. So Filecoin is based upon something called IPFS, which is the Interplanetary File System. So think about any, I'm trying to think about how to explain this if you're not necessarily a developer, which is, think about anything you need to store files on the internet. So like file storage. So file storage. So what do you store? Why do you need file storage? Well, you need it for, think about Dropbox, okay? Think about it for websites. So if you're on YouTube right now, on the website itself, you're watching a video or a live stream, it'll soon be compiled into a video. That video has to live somewhere. Okay, it's going to live on a server. All the images you see on the website, they live on a server somewhere. So if you use Dropbox, you share files, and that file that you send around lives on a server. Okay, so that's a single. In very simple terms, like that's just a single computer sitting somewhere where that file lives. It's a little more complicated than that, but just for example's sake, it's just a one computer that's owned by somebody. So a decentralized file storage system, like IPFS, is where you have multiple nodes that all talk to one another. Okay, and each node gets a copy of the files that are stored on the system. Okay, so if you were to upload a file to IPFS, you'd submit it to a node, and then that would be redundantly distributed across all these other nodes. So it's kind of like a blockchain. It's not really a blockchain because it doesn't fundamentally work like a blockchain. It's just a distributed system. It's a distributed file storage system, peer-to-peer, where all these all these nodes talk to one another. So advantages like that you get from this are like censorship resistance. Nobody owns the server where your file lives. They can't just like take it off. Okay. So that's IPFS. All right. But Filecoin is built on top of IPFS and actually adds an incentive layer on top of this. It basically introduces a cryptocurrency incentive mechanism based upon this model right here. So what could you do that? Well, you could build a decentralized Dropbox. You could build a decentralized website, for example. If you're going to build a fully decentralized website like a Dapp, if it's fully decentralized, of course, you need smart contracts powered on the blockchain or some sort of blockchain component to it where the back end of the application lives, and then the actual front end side of the application, like the website that you see and use, ideally would be hosted on a decentralized file storage system like IPFS. You can basically just bundle your website into a file and then put it on something like IPFS, and then people can access it that way rather than hosting it on a centralized server. You can also get more advanced than that and use like decentralized DNS. You could do like a .eth website with a DNS resolver that points to IPFS, etc., etc. So that's what Filecoin is under the hood. Somebody said like Kazaa or LimeWire. Yeah, that's old school. Those were peer-to-peer. BitTorrent is a huge peer-to-peer file storage system. So that's file sharing. It technically is kind of the same thing on one level. But this is intended. This is a slightly different intent rather than just I store files and share them around, send them to you, etc., etc. Somebody said, how do I create my own crypto in Python and publish it? Well, if you want to use Python, you could write a smart contract in Viper. It looks a lot like Python, or you could just write it in Solidity with something like Brownie, Python framework. You'll probably have to learn a new programming language, or you could, build an actual blockchain with Python. That's a little more intense because you have to run an actual blockchain network and convince a bunch of people to run nodes if it's actually going to be decentralized. So this is like if a site is built on the system, wouldn't you need a super fast internet to keep your app competitive in terms of speed? So yeah, we are tweaking the the performance of this stuff is improving over time. Okay, that's the thing you have to also understand about blockchain tech is it's not like the scalability problem is real. It's not like it's an unsolvable problem. It's just that think about it like a bandwidth problem. Okay, think about how amazing internet was in the 90s. But internet still had a bandwidth problem of 56K modems. Okay. I mean, if you were around then, some people watch this channel literally weren't, or were too young to remember, but that's okay. Just thinking about that. We had to wait for broadband to really become widely adopted before a lot of the major use cases of the internet took off. I was watching this video with Mark Cuban again the other day, talking about online radio, online broadcasting, how people thought that was such a crazy use case. It's like, hey, why wouldn't I just turn on my radio, man? Like, radio just does good a job. You hear the same thing with crypto. It's like, store of value, man. I can buy gold. If it's money, we got great digital money. I can just swipe my credit card, et cetera, et cetera. Why would I use this? Our financial system works great. It's the same type of thing. So one of the big complaints about blockchain is it's slow, it's not scalable, it's a bandwidth problem. We're working really, really, really hard to improve that problem. And as soon as that bottleneck is removed, it's I don't say it's game over, but it's close. Somebody says 56K was an upgrade. It was an upgrade. I mean, we started with less than that. But think about, what you have now. I mean, think about fiber internet connection. I mean, that's what I have. So fiber internet compared to 56K modems. It's absolutely insane, the difference. And what you can do, you wouldn't be able to watch this live stream if you had a 56K modem. Do I have any thoughts on privacy coins? Yeah. I think we need more privacy. I would like to see more privacy solutions built on top of something like Ethereum. Of course, we have Tornado Cash. It's an awesome project. I would like to see more privacy things integrated on top of Ethereum. It's hard. You know what I mean? You have to build something on top of this layer. It's hard. Yeah. Somebody says, how do you publish your own coin so it has value? Well, the market is what gives your coin value. So this is confusing for a lot of people. I didn't understand this when I first started looking at cryptocurrencies. So there's not a diss or anything like that. It's just a common misconception or a common misunderstanding is how does a cryptocurrency have value in the first place? Well, the market gives it value, okay? So if you create a cryptocurrency, if you want to launch your own cryptocurrency, the easiest way to do it is to create an ERC20 token on top of Ethereum. Or other blockchains have ways of bootstrapping a cryptocurrency too. I'm just gonna stick with Ethereum, with the premise that if you actually want people to buy it, the easiest way for you to get it's super easy to get a cryptocurrency out there that people can buy and sell right now on top of Ethereum, because you can create an ERC20 token with smart contracts. You can basically do copy and paste code with minimal changes to launch your own cryptocurrency on Ethereum. Put it out there, publish it. And then trade it on Uniswap. So this is where the market will actually decide the price. So if you want to be able to buy your token, you have to go to Uniswap, supply liquidity. So basically you have to have a way for people to buy and sell your tokens. So you have to add your tokens to Uniswap with a pair of other cryptocurrency so that you can provide some order book depth. So you could do it with Ether. You could take some Ether plus your coin, stick it in a Uniswap liquidity pool, and then let people trade it that way. So the market will decide the price. So essentially, what are people willing to pay for your coin? That's how the price is determined. What about SEC? Yeah, I'm not recommending that you do this necessarily. That's what I'm saying here. Yeah, there are definitely regulatory constraints depending on what country you live in, whether you can just do this. Okay, so yeah, of course I'm not telling you to do this. Somebody just asked me, how do you do it? Somebody says, how significant is the new PayPal adoption? What does it have to do with ETH? It's a good question. I think the new PayPal adoption is big. Okay, I think because it enhances the value proposition of cryptocurrency in general, it's particularly with the payment aspect. I know not everybody's going to view every cryptocurrency as a payment method. That's fine. I don't think Bitcoin's a great payment method. You know what I mean? But it does increase cryptocurrency's value proposition because it builds on top of it increases the network effect. So cryptocurrency becomes more valuable as a payment method the more places you can spend it, and the more people that will accept it as a payment method, and the more people who have it to purchase things. So PayPal basically opening the gate to, I think it's like 29 million merchants. Eventually, it's not all of them initially. It's a lot of people to accept cryptocurrency payments. That basically makes cryptocurrency on the whole more valuable with that particular aspect as a payment solution. So I think it's big. I think we're just at the beginning of their integration of cryptocurrencies. I think we'll see it evolve and mature more over time. But I think the initial push is a big deal. It's not the same as the Visa news that we saw earlier this week, where Visa is building on top of Ethereum for Crypto.com. So it's their initial pilot project to actually settle value transfers on top of Ethereum. That's different. So the Visa, the PayPal use case basically is where people buy people hold cryptocurrency and they go pay at a checkout system online where the merchant accepts PayPal. And then the cryptocurrency is instantly converted to fiat currency, like US dollar, for example. That's what the merchant receives. They're not subject to the volatility of cryptocurrency whenever the transaction is completed. But for Visa, with Crypto.com, what they're doing is actually doing the transfer on the blockchain itself underneath the payment. So the whole idea here is, how do we bypass the old payment system? How do we get rid of ACH? How do we get rid of SWIFT and do everything on the blockchain itself? So they're doing it with USDC, which is a stable cryptocurrency. Okay, so the merchant will not be subject to volatility either that way. But how can we actually transfer dollars faster without the risk of chargebacks, which essentially are the value proposition? It's fast settlement, fast final settlement, where you know that the merchant's going to get their money. They're not being defrauded, all that kind of stuff. Smith says Tesla is holding their BTC payment. That's true. I did see that. I don't think all merchants want to do that, though. Think about small mom and pop merchants who have PayPal checkouts. They just want dollars. And they may not want to hold Bitcoin, if it's going down. Tesla holding their payment in BTC is huge. That is true. It is true. But I don't think everybody wants to do that. Somebody says they have a PayPal account. Send me some. Okay, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here today. Before I do, a quick plug. We do have our Masterclass tonight. So if you've been watching the videos, been keeping up about that, it's going to be the Flash Loan Masterclass. After this video, I'll put a link down below. It's going to be tonight at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to show you how to do flash loans for trading, DeFi, et cetera, how to borrow millions of dollars of cryptocurrency with zero money down. There's no risk that you can lose the money whenever you do this, okay? You don't have to be an advanced developer to attend. If you're technically savvy and can follow instructions, I think you can do this too. So that's tonight, 5:30 p.m. I'll put a link down below so you can sign up. That's all I got for today. As always, smash the like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It really helps these videos out so more people can learn about blockchain. If you like these videos, you want to the next step, How can you get started today? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find any of my free courses there, like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. If you like those, you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, you don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching.